You never know when things are going to go wrong in the water. Sometimes you get out there and bad things just happen, kind of like some of the instances we'll see in this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. Our first story to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to the Netherlands, where this past week, Yachts launched their largest yacht built to date, the 80-meter all-aluminum yacht Galactica. Now, this vessel could make the news for many different reasons. Being an all-aluminum yacht, it's one of the fastest yachts of this size built to date. But today, this is going to make the news for a different reason, because Yachts also built this to the maximum spec they could, where it would still fit down their river system to where they can make delivery to the North Sea. This yacht only clears the smallest lock by beam by 6 inches and clears their shortest bridge only by 4 inches, making delivery of this vessel to the North Sea very interesting. There have been conflicting reports that this vessel actually hit a bridge during the transportation, but Yachts and the transportation company are claiming they have not hit anything during this time and the vessel has taken no damage. They have, however, been delayed by multiple days now trying to get this yacht down the river due to high flood waters, and still anticipate they have several days to go to even get close to making the North Sea. Our next story to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to the Gulf of Thailand, where this past week the Royal Thai Navy received a distress call from an oil platform in the Gulf claiming there appeared to be a derelict cargo freighter drifting with a pronounced list near the platform. The Royal Thai Navy quickly dispatched a patrol boat to the scene, but upon arrival they found a very eerie sight. They pulled up on a rusting 260-foot unmanned coastal freighter bearing the markings of Fin Shu Yin 2. Upon arrival, it was quickly determined that the vessel was in desperate shape and at a clear risk of sinking. The Royal Thai Navy did send a boarding party over to the freighter to investigate. They quickly learned that the vessel had sustained heavy damage and was taking on water. They also discovered that the vessel was in a state of disarray, with belongings from the prior crew tossed around the berthing areas and the bridge. The boarding party did search the bridge to see if they could find any paperwork to help identify this vessel or its owners, but unfortunately no identifying paperwork was found. The crew did attempt a salvage operation and began to pump the water out of the vessel, and after removing enough water, this crew did attempt to tow this vessel back to the mainland. Unfortunately, the salvage operation was not a success, and the derelict ship wound up sinking in about 90 feet of water, approximately 30 nautical miles off the coast of Tamarat. With the sinking of this vessel, it also sank the chances of the Royal Thai Navy trying to determine where this vessel came from, as any clues they could use to determine that sank with the boat. Our next story to make the boating news this week is going to take us down to the Florida Keys, where just this week, a flight crew with Customs and Border Protection, Air and Marine Operations spotted a 60-foot vessel approximately 25 miles northeast of Anguilla Key in the Bahamas. The initial impressions of the air crew was that the vessel looked derelict, so they made a call to the Coast Guard so they could send a vessel to investigate. When the Coast Guard finally arrived to the vessel, they found a very shocking scene. They discovered a 60-foot wooden sailing vessel that appeared to be unseaworthy, carrying over 170 Haitian migrants. The crew of the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Paul Clark provided personal flotation devices to the people on board the sailing vessel. The vessel itself didn't appear to have any basic life-saving equipment or navigational lights on board. The U.S. Coast Guard then worked with federal and state local law enforcement officers to help take the people into custody. 10 people from the vessel were brought to a hospital with symptoms of dehydration. This is starting to become a very common scene for the Coast Guard, especially with the political status of Haiti at the current time. Just in the last 3 months, the Coast Guard has rescued over 557 Haitians off the coast of Florida. Our next story to make the boating news this week is a tragic one, and it's going to take us over to Brazil, where just this week, 10 people were killed and 32 people were injured as a group of tourist boats visited a famous lake in Brazil. They went to visit a popular tourist destination of a waterfall on the lake, but due to the heavy rains that have been received in Brazil over the last few weeks, a giant portion of the cliff wall collapsed into the water. This giant section of the cliff that breaks free winds up landing on one of the boats below and sending rock shrapnel and a giant wave into the rest of the boats in the area. This truly is a tragic scene. Here, boats are seen near the face of the cliff. There's actually people yelling in the background at this time, telling these vessels to get out of the way, as they can see signs that the cliff itself is giving way. Some of these vessels in front here quickly heed the warning and get out of the way, but a few vessels unfortunately do not. There is actual video footage showing the entire cliff wall coming down and the whole incident, but the video clip, being honest, is just too traumatic for me to air here. If it's something you think you would want to see for some reason, you can find it at several other news sources out there. Thoughts and prayers definitely go out to the families who were involved in this incident. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening on your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Gary Blaskovich, Daniel Bowes, Marvin Maverick, and Nolan Rader did this week. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.